So the reason that we talk about the term media literacy and the definition is because if you think about the definition of literacy, literacy is the ability to read and write. When we think about media literacy, or you think about, so reading is actually consuming media, and writing is authoring media. So if we think about all the ways we can consume and author media in the 21st century, that's media literacy. So it's an expanded notion of what it means to be literate.
Fake news is not an innovation of the 21st century. It existed a long time ago. It just transformed as well as the media did. So I think that the reason why media literacy becomes a subject in itself right now, because it's a part of the national security discourse. So when we talk about the credibility of information, it's not just about what the people consume, but how their behaviors change as a result of their information consumption. So in this way, it's all about how do we ensure that there is a security of the local community, of the state, and also of the information domain, as the recent directive of NATO also points out that cyber is the new domain where they should operate to ensure the well-being and the sort of social mobility of the populations online as well. And media literacy in this case is one of the key tools to ensure that process.
You cannot really avoid the fact that everybody is a publisher now. There is no doubt about it. You cannot say you can't publish. The general masses cannot publish. They will publish. But what is very important to realize that the entire traditional publishing community, both in broadcast journalism and traditional media and everything else, need to step up their expertise in handling new technologies and new publishing tools. And they should use it like the way they have been using printing as a tool, or publishing or broadcasting as a tool, to same as digital broadcasting or digital printing or digital publishing.
Kids get exposed to technology and to social media at a very young age, and I think we cannot start early enough to teach them some basic skills on a really basic level on how to deal with social media and how to deal with information. But at the same time, I think there's an older generation that is just as vulnerable as kids are to false and misleading information.
We depend on information in terms of our business, in terms of our education, in terms of our everyday communication, everyday life, in terms of our security, in terms of our policy making, in terms of everything. And based on this, we understand that being aware of how the information works, being aware of how we exchange the information, what are the dangers in this exchange, what are the dangers in media, what are the dangers in social media, in messengers, and so on. This is vitally important in the age of information.
What Russia and the other nefarious actors are trying to do is much easier in itself, because you don't try to build anything, you try to destroy what already exists, and you try to sow the divisions and exploit the weaknesses that existed before as well. So whether it's distrust of the people to each other, or some of the stereotypes and some of the sentiments that people hold deep down inside their mindset. What we try to do with the media literacy activities is something to build, actually, and to build the social links, the trust, and resilience to these disinformation efforts that come from actors like the Kremlin and also the local populists, oligarchs, and people with vested interests.
In the United States, where I'm from, our intelligence community assessed that Russia interfered with the American election, for example. This was a wake-up call to Americans. We know now that this sort of thing had been happening for a long time, but it took this kind of influence to really wake everybody up. Why are they so good at it? I'm not sure. It's a great question, but I can tell you, as somebody who practices fact-checking, we certainly notice the influence, and it's quite apparent even in the United States.
This is a space where we invited different organizations, actors coming from media, civil society, entrepreneurs. We created a space where they can exchange these ideas and come up with new solutions and collaborations. We believe that the influencers having these large audiences are fit to not only try to connect to the existing initiatives, but they can launch new initiatives and new products. They can create new services. They can create new products that can solve different problems. Personally for them, it can be a source of additional revenue, but at the same time, they can have a huge social impact.